Blaise Pascal, when wondering why are we seeing so many atheists, he thought, let's present God in such a way that he is so awesome that people will wish that that God actually exists. And then we can show them that he does. That is what I have been endeavoring to do. Watch this encounter with a very nice young man named Christopher and just see if there is anything in this little banquet lay before you that you might, nuts, of which you might partake. I can't end a sentence with a preposition. Chris, when you observe the world, you're a sociology major. Do you ever observe bad things happening?
Are we talking morally bad or just...
Sure, morally bad, people hurting one another, crimes being committed, people not loving one another.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Do you ever see good in the world?
Oh, yeah, like people opening doors for other people, people not tripping each other. Yeah.
How often do you see people tripping one another? What are you doing here, GSU? Okay, so you see both good and evil.
Okay, yeah.
Chris, do you ever personally feel a sense of guilt for actions, things that you've either done or should have done that trouble you?
Yeah.
Slightly different emotion. Do you ever feel a sense of shame?
No, not a sense of shame, just more of, well, I could have done better kind of thing.
Well, let me just press on that and test to see if you ever do feel shame. If I could take a computer chip, place it behind your ear, and it recorded your thought life for 1 week, and we brought your family and friends and we gathered them in the square, and then we beamed them up, all of your thoughts for the last week, on that wall for everybody to see, do you think you might feel shame?
No.
Come on. Really?
They know me by now. I'm pretty open.
So really, they're just secret thoughts, nothing that would be shameful if it were exposed to the world?
No. I mean, most of the stuff I say out loud, if it is.
All right. You're a better man than I am. Okay, so you feel guilt, no shame, fear. Specifically, not just fear of like a phobia, spiders, snakes. Fear of death.
Oh, yeah, of course, fear of death.
You do feel a fear. How come?
Well, you don't know what's on the other side. And then there's also the other things that you're probably wanting to do in life. So you're worried about what's going to happen to that stuff after you leave.
What about dealing with those guilty things, those things that you've done that caused you to feel guilt? Is there ever a concern about when I pass into whatever this next life might be, that the things that I've done that caused me guilt are going to cause me trouble in the afterlife? In other words, that I could be judged by someone for those things and found wanting?
Oh, that's an odd situation, huh? I never thought about it like that, but then, yeah, thinking maybe something I should have done, somebody could keep a tally of it and say, why didn't you do it? Yeah, I think I'd be a bit worried about that.
Are you a religious person?
Oh, yeah. My parents come from a Christian background.
Are you personally a religious person?
I mean, I believe in most of the stuff, but not in terms of having to do everything by the book, like, everything exactly the way it has to be.
So here's now my thesis, all right? If there were a God who could explain why we see the coexistence of good and evil, if that God existed, and if that God could deal with your guilt problem, that sense that I just have not done things that I'm proud of, everything that has been right, I feel a sense that I might even be in trouble for those things because I'm guilty in some sense or form. And if that God could deal with a shame problem, and if that God could deal with my fear of death by providing me a way to die and not have to pay the consequences for my guilt, so I no longer lived with a shadow hanging over my head, that the afterlife maybe isn't going to bring good for me. If that God existed, Christopher, would you desire to know that God and be in a right relationship with that God?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, if I knew for a fact that that's how it's going to end, then I'd probably do my best now to figure out, it's logical what to do next for the next step.